Welcome back. Thank you for joining WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the inspiration and information. You're listening to the Perky Collar Radio Show, and I'm your host, David M. Frankel. This is my co-host today,
Tori Gurley.
and this is my special guest today, Frank La Fragola. Did I say it right?
You did.
Excellent. I passed the first test, guys. Those that do graduations and all kinds of ceremonies and have to say every single person's last name, I'm incredibly impressed because some last names are very challenging. La Fragola, I got it the second time around, so that's
Very
great.
challenging, but
Yes.
you did a good job.
Thank you so much. And Frank is the owner of a restaurant here in Charlotte called Jekyll and Hyde Restaurant. So please welcome him to the show.
Thank you for having me today.
Oh, you're welcome. So tell us why Jekyll and Hyde. The name obviously is unique, so help us understand why you named it that, as well as why you got in the restaurant business.
Okay. Well, let me just give you a little background where we started first. So,
Sure.
When we first came to Charlotte, we had the intention of opening a restaurant in here. And the actual intention was to open an Italian restaurant.
Okay.
Italian heritage, Italian background. We wanted to bring some of our food from back up north here. Unfortunately, we were first-time restaurateurs. The
Okay.
banks weren't very happy about lending to somebody that didn't have the experience. So we had to go down the franchise route.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. I think there's
yeah.
some appropriate music to go with that.
I mean, it was an experience. It was a good learning experience, and we're glad that we did. At first, I wasn't happy about it because we wanted to do our own concept, but we didn't have the experience. So the bank said, "We'll tell you what. If you open up a restaurant that's a franchise, we'll lend you the money." So my wife at the time was working at a sports bar as a manager. So we decided to open up a sports bar franchise, and hence Buffalo Wings and Rings was born in Ballantyne, North Carolina.
Very good.
And we had a really good run there. We were there for about 7 years.
Okay.
We catered to a lot of families. We showed every sporting event that was there, including UFC. It was a good time, but the most important thing, it was a good learning experience. You know, you learn about food costs, which I never heard of before. I was like, what is food cost?
Right.
I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
You know, you learn about P&Ls, making sure your profit and loss statements are profitable versus not, making any money that month.
Right.
And those are all the things that a franchise will help you with. So I would definitely recommend that someone that's never been in the business before, and whatever business that be, it doesn't have to be a restaurant, it could be anything, a dry cleaners, whatever it could be, go towards the franchise route because you really do learn a lot. But then the bad part of that is if you have a passion for the business, you end up not wanting to be part of the franchise because unfortunately with the franchise you have guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And within those guidelines you have to stay there. So if you'd like to create your own dish, if you're inspired to make a new meal, well, guess what? You can't do it. If you want to bring in some new equipment to try some new food in there, you can't.
Right.
So, towards, I guess, the end of our franchise career, it was just I had enough. I wanted to expand on my own. And we had this concept, my wife and I, Christine, called Jekyll and Hyde. I came up with the name because I wanted to do something different in the community. Charlotte has about 5,000 or plus different places to eat. Well, what's going to take us to the next level? Something different to go to. Well, I said, Jekyll and Hyde sounds pretty cool. It's a name. It's something you're going to remember versus a lot of the other restaurants in Charlotte, very generic names. Doesn't really stand out. Doesn't sound like it's a lot of fun. I think the name Jekyll and Hyde sounds like fun. So we came up with the name. And then what we wanted to do from there is we had to create a unique menu. Well, if you know the story of Jekyll and Hyde, it took place in England. And it took place in the 1800s. So what we did was our menu is English, Irish, and American. And from there what we did was we said, okay, well, what are we going to do with these dishes to make them unique? Well, we took the traditional meals and put a spin on them. So for instance, shepherd's pie. Do you guys have shepherd's pie?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so if you have shepherd's pie, good example. It's made with like a traditional lamb beef mix. Well, we put short rib in instead. So, and I had to put that in my menu. We had to change the menu after we were open because unfortunately when you have traditionalists coming in looking for a shepherd's pie, telling you, well, hey, Frank, that's not how you're supposed to make it. And I said, well, we're called Jekyll and Hyde. There's a concept behind it. So what we had to do is we had to actually go out, change the menu, and put Hyde's non-traditional shepherd's pie in the menu. So when people sat there and ate it, they knew what they were going to get.
Right.
So a little bit more about the restaurant. So with the restaurant, we also went with a concept called steampunk. You guys ever heard of steampunk?
Mm-mm.
No. All right. So steampunk basically took place back in the 1800s. Had a lot of gears and gadgets. If you've seen the movie Wild Wild West with Will Smith, that was steampunk.
Okay.
So all those kooky things and ideas that the people had, we incorporated that into the restaurant. So if you've been in the store, you'll see like we have a really cool steampunk mural on top. A lot of our lights, they look like old pipes with the Edison bulbs in them. We have a really cool light display as soon as you walk into the restaurant. It looks like the light bulbs are raining through wooden trusses. So we created a really cool feel. And if you walk through the restaurant was built like Jekyll and Hyde had built a restaurant.
Wow.
So you walk into the store, and now if you look on the outside, the bricks are 2 different colors. One building, but 2 different colors. You go through the store, and you have different colors on one side of the restaurant, which are traditional English. Like if you went to an old pub in the 1800s, the dark reds. We actually have wallpaper that's true to the century of the 1800s. Same thing, repro. Looks really cool. But then as you come around the corner, the floors start to change colors. The furniture changes colors, and the actual rooms themselves are very different. You have one traditional, which is the dark woods, the red colors. As soon as you get into Hyde's bar, or the tap house, should I say, it's all wood, metal, looks like rust, burnt up wood. Really cool feel, and it gives you the change of the restaurant, and it shows the story that we're trying to tell to our guests.
Very cool.
So it's pretty neat.
So it sounds like you do a lot of history and a lot of research before you opened up and designed this restaurant to give you the full ambiance and experience you want the customer to experience.
Well, a lot of thought went into the restaurant because being in the restaurant business for 7 years, and quite honestly, if you're going to get in this business, you're not getting in this business because you think you're going to be a millionaire, you're going to make a lot of money. You're doing it because you have a passion to be in this business.
Right.
Restaurant business there's a lot of hours. It could be a lot of fun, but there's also a lot of aggravation that goes with it. It's a tough job. You're going to put in time. You're going to have to deal with employees. You're going to have to deal with irate customers. So it's different than what I did before because I worked in the corporate world. I sat at a desk. I didn't have to talk to anybody. It was simple. Once you're in the restaurant business, that's all you do or talk to people.
Right.
You have to be out there. You have to basically become the mayor of the business. You have to let everybody know, shake hands, kiss babies, all that stuff, because if you don't, you're just going to be another business that people are going to go in, they're going to sit there and eat, they're going to forget about you when they walk out. So what I do is I try to create that experience that you're going to remember, you're going to tell people about, and you're going to come back.
That's excellent. So do you think at some point with the success of Jekyll and Hyde, how long have you been open? A couple years?
Jekyll and Hyde, January 9th will be our 1 year anniversary.
1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
So can you see Jekyll and Hyde becoming a franchise you sell at some point based on his experience, based on the ambiance, based on what you've created?
We're thinking about that. Right now we're searching for a second location. We're not really sure exactly where. We do know that it has to be a unique location.
Right.
Jekyll and Hyde right now in Matthews, North Carolina is in an area called North End. North End creates a new experience for guests to travel to Matthews. Matthews was a sleepy little town before. Now they're expanding it. There's other bars out there. There's other restaurants. It's a fun town to visit. And I think Jekyll and Hyde has helped create Matthews, the North End, the experience that people want to have. We brought that. So I know wherever we go next, we have to create that same experience. So we can't just be in a strip mall. We don't want to just go to any town. One of the towns we looked at was Belmont, maybe Waxhaw, certain areas of Charlotte. It's got to be something that has a really cool vibe that Jekyll and Hyde will fit in with. Makes
sense. So how can people look at the menu of Jekyll and Hyde? Is it on a website or?
Yeah, so you can check us out at hydestaphouse.com.
hydestaphouse.com. If you're driving, wait to get home. But make sure you play this back and check out the menu. And if you're hungry, go there now. Don't wait any longer. Just go check out the food and tell them what they should check out. What's your most popular dish and why?
So popular appetizer, we'll start there,
okay,
is our Irish nachos.
Okay, very good. Everyone loves nachos.
I mean, well, who doesn't love nachos? But we put a spin on our nachos.
Yeah,
so
please tell me.
Yeah, so let me tell you how we take.
By the way, we're all hungry, so this is going to really be a.
This is perfect. This is lunchtime. So
if
you're listening to this is a great time to actually be listening to this. So.
All right. If it's dinner time, go there too. But if it's lunchtime, that's another reason to go. Anytime, just go. They can probably find the breakfast for you as well.
So what we do is we take potatoes, fresh potatoes, we slice them up, we fry them up, and then what we do is we take our own cheese sauce that we make in house. We drizzle that on top of the potatoes. We have fresh bacon bits, cherry tomatoes. We do green onions or scallions on top. It makes such a great combination that just the flavor that you get from it. And if you want to actually spruce it up, add steak to it. So that's our number one appetizer right now, and it's great to share. So if you want to bring your friends, your family, you just want to have one all to yourself, it's okay. You can have a little bit more calories you do that way, but it's winter, so
that's
we're,
right.
we're beefing up there, right? And if you want to do a good appetizer, our number one seller, of course, is the fish and chips.
Okay.
North Atlantic cod. We make our own batter in the back. We use a different beer. Try to give our guests that unique experience coming in to eat.
Very good. So we got our appetizer covered. We got the entree covered. What about the dessert?
Well, dessert, my favorite part, of course. We make our own bread pudding in-house.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, if you like bread pudding, again, we put a little spin to that. We also make our homemade creme anglaise with a nice scoop of vanilla ice cream. It's served warm. It is delicious. You always got to save room for dessert.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. I'm definitely, I got to check that out. With it being football season, I'm quite sure on Sundays or on the weekends, you guys get a lot of traffic with guys or, families coming in to watch these huge sporting events. I'm quite sure those nachos would hit the spot with a cold one.
Can't miss that. Now, the great thing is with the cold one, 50 taps.
Nice.
Now, what we try to do is with the experience with the 50 taps is we do all local taps to Charlotte. Now, I have a couple, like the mainstays, like the Bud Light, the Miller Lite, of course, because you have to always please all of your guests. You try to got to hit that gamut. But what I want to do is I want to support all the local people, the local companies that are here in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to stay to our roots, and we have all local taps, all local crafts. Some of the wineries are here from North Carolina. We do craft cocktails. I don't know if you guys ever had one of those. You want to try something different, got to go for a craft cocktail. And a lot of the ingredients that we get also are from North Carolina, like our beef, our chicken is right here from the Carolinas.
That's great.
So try to support our own here.
Definitely.
Oh, yes.
That's very important. And help me understand, so obviously you're about to hit your 1-year anniversary, which everyone listening should congratulate them, because in the restaurant world, a 1-year anniversary is not an easy milestone to achieve.
It's hard.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Number 2,
Thank
congratulations is breaking away from the franchise. If I can imagine you right now working with Buffalo Wings and Rings, you're kind of a caged animal. I want to do this. Sorry, you can't do that, Frank. I want to do this. Sorry, I can't do that, Frank. And at some point after 7 years, I'm sure you went to your wife and said, honey, I just can't take it anymore. I'm not happy. I wanted to get in the restaurant world to do creative things, and now you're telling me I can't be creative. So we got to get out of this. But at the same time, you're leaving your family in Ballantyne, all the employees you had in Ballantyne. So it's kind of bittersweet. You hate the family you have to leave.
It was.
And I'm sure some came to work with you as well. But it was nice to have the opportunity to say, hey, I've learned what I've learned. I know what P&L statements are. I know what the cost of food should be, and now I'm going to apply it out to my restaurant, Jekyll and Hyde. So
Absolutely.
that's a great story to start somewhere, learn from it, and then start your own thing. So give me an example of a low point at Buffalo Wings and Rings or at Jekyll and Hyde, and what you learned from that low point experience.
Here's what the low points is. You have to take the good with the bad in this business.
Right.
Unfortunately, my personal low point is you can't please every customer that walks in that door.
Right.
As hard as you try, no matter what you do, you just can't. You can bend over backwards, do cartwheels, give them everything for free, ask them to come back, and they're still going to be mad at you. And it's difficult because, in this type of business, sometimes you might take things personal because it is your business.
Right.
And it's something that you have such a strong passion for. So when someone says, I didn't like this particular meal, or I don't like how your restaurant looks, or I'm never going to come back again, at the back of your head, it's going to be personal. You're going to be a little upset, but you always have to have that game face. You can't let these things bother you because at the end of the day, that guest will probably come back again and apologize. We have so many people that, I'm not going to come back again. My food didn't come out on time or my service wasn't great. And everybody does have a bad day. You have to understand it's not going to be perfect all the time. You're going to go to a restaurant. Maybe that server had a bad day. Maybe they broke with their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their husband, their wife. You don't know what's going on in that person's personal life. And unfortunately, when service comes to the table, that might come out while they're trying to serve you. And it's not the customer's fault. You're there. You're spending good money. Well, hey, I want that experience that you promised me to walk into this place. Well, why am I not getting it?
Right.
And it's going to happen sometimes. And, I've learned that people have good days, people have bad days. And it's my job as the manager to go over and say, pretty much, I'm sorry, I apologize. You never put it on that server because you don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
Right.
At the end of the day, you're the manager, you're the boss, you're the owner. Everything falls on you. You have to fall on your sword. And that's just how it goes. So, low points.
Can you think of an example of a low point? And maybe you went home to your wife and said, man, honey, I had the toughest customer today, and I kept it together. You'll be very proud of me. I didn't throw them out.
I'm going to give you a good story. I'm going to give them the grilled cheese story.
The grilled cheese story. Here we come.
You're going to love this.
Everyone write this down.
Yeah, so this is a great story. And this happened pretty recently. And
we don't have to name any names, of course.
No,
Protect the
no
innocent.
names, but we're going to just go for a quick story. So,
You know who you are, grilled cheese.
Yeah,
Burger.
they
if you've been to
definitely know
Jekyll
who
and
they are.
Hyde and you had grilled cheese, this story could be about you.
Yeah, this is definitely. I hope they're listening to this one. So here's what happened. Basically, someone ordered an item that wasn't on the menu. So we have a traditional grilled cheese. We put all of our cheese on it. Well, they wanted pimento cheese. I said, okay, no problem. My big thing is you come to a restaurant. It's like Burger King, have it your way. Whatever you want, I will make for you, even if it's not on the menu. I'm cool with that. So they want pimento cheese. Didn't have it on the menu because I know it doesn't really serve correctly when you put it on the sandwich, the way it melts and whatnot. So kind of against it, but if you ask for it, I'll explain it to you. You still want it, I'll serve it to you. So I served it to this person, we'll say.
Good.
And they said, well, it's not grilled cheese. I don't want this. So it came back to the, our window, and I said, okay. I said, just make them a new one. I never argue with a customer. I get them whatever they want. Again, at the end of the day, it's about the experience. I want them to be happy. Remake the food. They go out to the table, not happy again. They asked to see the manager, which was me at that day. So my poor girl, my server, is in the bathroom crying.
Aww.
These people, so it was a family, and they just berated her at the table, just destroyed her. So she was gone, walked away. I come over to the table, greet the people, of course, the same thing. Hi, guys, how are you all doing? What can I do for you? I heard you were very upset about the grilled cheese. And the woman literally opens up the sandwich in my face and says, does this look like pimento cheese to you? And I said, well, yes, ma'am. It changes, once the consistency goes into a melter. Well, this is not, you don't know how to run a business. I was like, okay, I'm really sorry. I'll get you whatever you like. What else can I do for you? It's on the house, no problem. And then another family member at the table goes, you know what? I don't like my burger either. It's a little cold, not to my liking. I'm not paying for it. And I said, oh boy. I said, here we go. So, again, Frank, game face, keep the game face on. I'm like, no problem. Would you like something else? I'll take it off the bill. And she said, no, I just don't want anything right now. You ruined my night. Fair enough, So then I have basically 3 family members just going at me at this table. Just going at me. And this is something that people don't understand with the restaurant business. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sit there and you literally get destroyed at a table, people screaming at you, cussing at you. And it takes a lot to put up with that. But at this point, after 7 years, I think I'm hard as nails. I've been called every name in the book by a customer. There's nothing that you could do, say, or hurt my feelings. So I just sit there and I'm like, okay, no problem. I got to the point I had to walk away. I'm done with these people. I'm gone. Walked away from the table. Other manager calls me up. She goes, you might want to read Yelp. And I said, oh, my God. I said, please don't tell me. She goes, yeah. They wrote this big review, and they actually called you out on it. And I said, okay. I said, so let me look at this. So, again, Yelp it's a two-sided place. Of course,
Yes.
your customers are going to go on there.
You only hear about one side. It's the customer. You never
It's
hear
unfortunate.
about
So
management.
I tried to be professional. So this person wrote this long paragraph and called me a few names that I didn't like. But, again, I'm a big boy. I'll get over it. I wrote them a personal message. I didn't want to put anything online. So I felt that it was more professional. Sent them a personal email. Well, and that was really nice. I said, I'm really sorry. I said, you did make one of my servers cry. I didn't really appreciate the way you spoke to me, but I understand you were upset. I'd love for you to come back. I'll have a meal on me. Well, then they wrote this other Google review, these other Yelp reviews. Frank, you're a coward. You wouldn't put this review so other people could see it. They called me some other names in there again. I'm like, wow. I said, this is ridiculous. So I said to my other manager, she goes, well, what do you want to do? I said, don't answer it. I said, people that are reading these reviews will see that this person literally put a 7-page or 7-paragraph in. The mother wrote in, both the daughters wrote in. They're going to see these people are crazy. Yeah, you're upset sometimes, but to do something like that is a little outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
And, as a business owner, you have to put up with this. I mean, you probably don't want people writing awful things about your collars online.
You're right.
But unfortunately, everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, and you can't sit there and let it ruin your day. It's not going to ruin your business. Don't lose sleep over it. Unfortunately, smarter people will be able to read through the BS and see that, okay, well, this person just irate. It's a little crazy. Not going to even hold this review accountable. We're going to still go there.
Right.
And I do find, that's the bad thing with very reviews. If you read them, well, where's all the good stuff? Most of the people, and this is for any business, they only go on Yelp or Google, these other places, just to complain. But the people that are happy don't complain.
Right.
They just go back again.
Right.
Or they continue doing business with that particular business, company, or person.
Right.
So it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing that
It's a
story.
funny story. I just
Yeah.
thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone that's listening and or watching this on YouTube can relate to that type of customer. It may not be in the restaurant industry. It could be in any industry. It could be any kind of sales environment. It could be a coach yelling at a player. It could be a player yelling at another player.
Yeah.
It could be kids giving each other a hard time at school. It could be a boyfriend-girlfriend exchange, and this girl accuses this girl of, all who knows what. Obviously,
it's a form of bullying.
it happens. It is. It is.
It takes a bigger person to sit there and be able to still give great customer service, and that's why you should go out to Jekyll and Hyde. They're gonna give you the opportunity to come in, feel great, eat good, and enjoy themselves. You know, I'm a former NFL player, and something we love to do is when we travel is I like to try different restaurants. So I'm very interested in coming over, and you know, if you can put the address out, you know, I'll definitely be there, and you know, I enjoy it. You know, I'm gonna order the appetizer and really enjoy.
Make sure you get the steak.
Yes, I'm gonna get the steak as well. So yeah, you give me the layout, I go over there. I love to eat, and it's gonna be a good time.
I got you covered.
What is the address, Frank? So people
our-
listening can check out your
If
restaurant.
you want to come out, so we're located at 316 North Trade Street in Matthews, North Carolina.
Okay, very good. Say it one more time, so if someone's trying to jot it down.
So if you're going to jot it down, 316 North Trade Street in Matthews.
Excellent. I know I'm hungry now.
Yes, I got a question. You know, my mother loves to eat brunch.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about taking her over there for brunch. Give me your menu for that.
I'm glad you asked. So we do serve brunch only on Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay.
And we serve this awesome brunch. We actually go traditional. We have a chicken and waffles.
Oh, yes.
All right.
So we have our hand-breaded chicken. We actually make our own waffles. I use my wife's recipe to make the waffles, which me personally I think they're delicious. I don't want to give out that recipe because I don't want to kill anybody after this.
Right.
So we're going to just keep that quiet, okay?
Please do.
Yeah, so, but we do serve a great brunch. We have a steak and eggs. And one of our big ones is we do the traditional English breakfast.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you've had that before, but have you ever had blood pudding before?
Nah.
Are you an adventurous eater?
I will be. You know, I will try.
I'll promise you now, if I put this on your plate, it just looks like a little piece of sausage. But if I didn't tell you what it was and you ate it, you'd be surprised afterwards. I promise.
Wow.
But it's a big breakfast. So if you do the English brunch, let's just say you're a big guy, so I'm
Yeah.
sure I can't just serve something small to you.
Correct.
It comes with eggs. You have our traditional English sausage. We do a candied bacon with it and regular bacon. We have English bacon. You have toast, potatoes, and of course we put mushrooms and the brown sauce. If you haven't had that, if you're an English person, we do have brown sauce in the house.
Mm.
It's actually a sauce that they like to have on their meals. If you're traditional English, I learned that the hard way when we first opened. People were like, brown sauce. I'm like, oh, gravy. And they're like, you Americans. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me find out what it is so I can purchase it.
Wow.
Well, it's good that you have the full gamut of the culture and the environment.
We
It all
did. I mean,
matches.
again, we did a little research when we opened the building up. We did speak to other people from England and Ireland. So it definitely helps out to do your research on something like this.
Of course.
Yes, I have a question for you. With it being playoff time and Super Bowl coming up, what type of does your menu change for that time of the year when you're going to have a lot of traffic with people wanting to come in and watch the game?
So with football ourselves, we do offer, we show all the local games. Of course, the Panthers. We're all Panthers fans out here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have the Panthers games, but one of the bigger sellers while the football games are going on is, of course, the Irish nachos, but we do have wings. And we serve only fresh wings, and we make a few of our own sauces in-house. If I can make a recommendation, the sweet Thai chili is really awesome.
All right.
Very good. And you mentioned earlier that you have a Italian background.
Mhm.
So I understand from Buffalo Wings and Rings was your first start. Jekyll and Hyde is your next step. A little more creativity, a little less handcuffs, so you can do what you want. What's the ultimate dream restaurant for Frank and his wife?
Dream restaurant, I would say, is opening our Italian concept.
Okay. And how would it be different? Would it be full of family recipes or?
Yeah, so here's the thing, and maybe I'm just a traditionalist, and I might just be a really picky eater, and maybe it's just because I'm Italian from the New York area. But the food down here is not traditional Italian to me personally. And I'm sure there's other Italian people that are probably listening to this like, Frank, you know what you're talking about. But, but you know, just coming from that area, and, you know, I'm third generation Italian, so my family came from Italy. They brought those recipes here. I watched them making pasta every single Sunday by hand, making meatballs by hand, just making everything. So when you come down here and you have what I consider non-traditional Italian food, it's not the same. So one of the things that we would like to bring here to the Charlotte area, which we intended in bringing here when we first moved here, was a good Italian restaurant. You know, bringing grandma's recipes that have been around the family for just generations and generations, having people sample something, homemade pastas, homemade meatballs, homemade sauce, just really good food that you can bring your family in. It's good, hearty stuff that everybody likes. So yeah, hopefully in the future that's where we'll be at.
That's exciting.
That is definitely a goal of mine.
Are there other Italian restaurants in Matthews currently that you'd be competing with?
No.
No. Okay, so you could definitely own the market in the Matthews area.
I mean, if we did, yeah, but I mean, it's not really, I don't want to contain myself to Matthews per se. I mean,
Okay.
Again, it's going to be something that it's got to be at the right place at the right time.
So that's my next question: is this Italian restaurant? Where do you think the ideal place in Charlotte would be to open it? Or do you think it'd be appreciated the most?
It's hard to say. Probably, again, I like Matthews a lot. I think Matthews is an awesome town, great people. So if I had the opportunity to put in Matthews, I would. But I mean, one of my favorite places in Charlotte, I love the South Park area.
Okay.
I think it's very diverse. There's a lot going on over there. There are some really good restaurants.
Give Maggiano's a run for their money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll bring La Fragolas in next to Maggiano's.
There you go. That'd be excellent. And there's a couple things you touched on earlier that I want to counteract because I don't want to focus on the negative customer. But I think all listeners and people watching on YouTube, they can all relate to a bad situation and how they got through it and how they persevered through it. I also want to talk about a good customer, a customer that came in and said, man, this food is incredible. I love the ambiance. I love the experience. Give us an example of a story of a customer that came in and just said, you know what, Frank, this is the best food I've ever had. I'm from England, or tastes just like my grandmother's recipe. I have to tell you, whatever you're doing back there in the kitchen is awesome. Let me give you a hug. Let me give you a high five, whatever it may be, that just made you feel like $1 million. Is there an example of a customer like that? I'm sure several, but
it's nice that you brought that up because you're right. They're true. There is negative customers, but there's a lot more positive customers out there, and that's what kind of helps us work those long hours and get out of bed early and go to bed late. Are the customers that you meet like that? And we had customers that used to go to our other restaurant, our other franchise, Buffalo Wings and Rings, and they still to this day come to our restaurant now, Jekyll and Hyde. We watch people that weren't married get married, have children. And now they are coming to our restaurant where we still, like we met a couple, when they first came in, they were single, and they were a really cool couple. And then all of a sudden I got to meet their little child. And now they came to Jekyll and Hyde, and now they have 2 more children. They had twins. And it's fun because you get to see these families grow up, where you have kids like we were Wings and Rings, and you watch kids that are little kids, they're not even in high school yet. And now they're coming to Jekyll and Hyde, and they've graduated high school. Wow. And it's amazing because you get to see these families grow, and these people come in, and they like to share their stories with you. And it's really nice as a restaurateur that you get to sit there and build these relationships with your customers because at the end of the day, they're not your customers anymore. They become your friends.
Right.
And it's really nice because a lot of the customers that we've met are now our personal and close friends. And it really makes the business that much more great to know these people, to get up, to go out there and serve them. We have another couple too. We called them the mayor of Buffalo Wings and Rings. My wife loves this couple, so we'll call them Mayor and Jane. We're just gonna call that's their names for today. Okay. And they started coming to our restaurant because we met their son-in-law, and all of a sudden this older couple came in really sweet, and they're so nice. And they're like, hey Frank, we really love your restaurant. I said, well, thank you very much. We like your cocktails. Thanks, it's great. Love your wings. I love you for saying that to me. You guys
Keep
are
it
really
coming.
awesome. Keep the compliments.
Keep it
I love
coming.
compliments. Well, these people were coming in so often that we just made him the dedicated mayor of Buffalo Wings and Rings. And, after 7 years, we opened up this new restaurant. Now they're coming over to Jekyll and Hyde. And it's fun because now we've had this couple over our home. They come over for parties and things like that. And, and they're in their 70s, so they're older than us. But to us, it's not about the age. It's about the customer. It's about the person. And it's about the friendship that we've gained. And I think with something like that, and I think my wife can attest to this, it's a great feeling to get up knowing that people come in there to eat at your restaurant saying, Frank, I love your fish and chips, which we've had people from England tell me, hey, this is better than the food in England.
Wow,
and I'm like, well, wow, that's a cute compliment. We've had a chef from Charlotte, we've had chefs come in telling us, this is the best burger I've ever had, which at the end of the day, it's a great compliment. Yeah. One of the other things that we serve is we do certified Angus beef. So all of our steaks, the same steak that you get uptown, well, they dry age their steak. Well, our steaks are wet aged, but they're all center cuts. Well, we serve that same type of product at our family restaurant for half the price or less. So, if you don't want to go uptown and spend all those crazy prices, you can come to Jekyll and Hyde and get the same experience and the same product.
Delicious. Yes. Wonderful.
I'm hungry.
I know.
I'm hungry.
Where's lunch?
Yes.
Looks like Jekyll and Hyde today for lunch, right?
That's right. That's what we're going right after this. Go ahead.
Shout out to Miss La Fragola because she's over here in the back and she's been helping us out the entire time. She should be on air, but she's not. She's going to wait and grace us with her beauty another day.
She's shy.
And wrapping up this today, I do want to throw a point out here about social media. If you guys can take a time to go to Jekyll and Hyde, as Frank mentioned, most people just like to complain when it comes to going to restaurants. Go to the restaurant and write a review. Be honest, but if it's good food, post good reviews, whether it be on Yelp or Google or Facebook, and share it because family-owned restaurants like the La Fragola family, they count on great feedback. And if there are only negative things to read, you can read negative things about any restaurant anywhere in the country. but it's important to have the positive and the negative. And that way people that are considering the restaurant can see, what did you have that was so good? What did you have that was okay? What did you have that you wouldn't eat again? But maybe you just have a preference against certain types of food. So again, go to the restaurant, check it out, post some reviews, and we can share our opinions with our neighbors and help them experience a great meal. I want to thank Frank and his wife for being here today and being a guest. You're tuned in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. And we'll be right back after the break.